1420 Sports Podcast, show 134, four beer with a sports talk, and a whole lot more. Today, Dave, we're going to talk a little Larry Walker, because I waxed poetic about Jeter, his Hall of Fame induction happening tomorrow. So we'll talk Canadian Larry Walker going in. Going to talk a little bit of morality clauses in sports and what we're thinking about some players that might not get the chance to play in the major sport of their choice anymore, or the major league of their choice anymore, and also do a rapid fire would you rather. And I got a special question for you anyways, so if you're ready, let's get into her.
I'm ready to go, man. It's like the weather is beautiful. This is the summer weather I wanted and remember as a fucking kid.
24, like, 23, yeah, nice.
Mid to high 20s and down to 15 degrees at night. Like, it's just awesome. So the weather in Southern Alberta, you shan't hear me bitch about it for hopefully the foreseeable future.
Yeah, you got this week. It's supposed to be in the mid early 30s, they're saying. So it's not Indian summer yet, because that's usually in October. But right now we're blessed. It's going to do. We can keep going a little bit and have a good.
And it cools off at night. That's the key phrase.
That's big. Anyways, Larry Walker going to the Hall of Fame tomorrow. I want to say Canada's greatest baseball player ever. Maybe Ferguson Jenkins. We'll get into that in a second here. But Walker, 17-year career. 2,100 hits, 97 MVP, 7 Gold Gloves, 1,300 RBIs, and all the stats. Stats are bullshit to me. Because if you're great, you're great. If you're not, you're not. They don't hurt your Hall of Fame numbers, obviously. But Larry Walker, Dave, quick question for you. Let's just say 1994, that strike didn't happen, and the Montreal Expos go on to maybe win a World Series or go to a playoffs, and then that team stays in Montreal and didn't get dispersed. All those great players you had in Montreal for that year.
Pedro Martinez, El Presidente, Delano DeShields, Larry Walker. Like, fuck, they had a good.
They were real good. Rondell White was an unknown guy, and
good.
Good. Such a great team. How big of a star would Larry Walker have been in Canada? He's a pretty big deal in Canada, but not like he'd be a third-rate hockey star this is my opinion. If the Expos don't leave, if there's no strike in 94, how big of a Canadian icon is Larry Walker if that team sticks around and they win a World Series that year?
And sorry, that was 94 when he was playing with the Expos?
Yeah.
I really don't know. Like, if you can take that 94 team and put them in today's thing with social media and YouTube and clips and social media following, in today's day and age, he would be on everything. They would be selling beer, t-shirts, hats, everything with his name on it. But due to the fact that it was in Montreal, in a shitty ballpark, with not an overly excited fan base in Montreal, I don't see it. Like, he would be, there'd be 10 hockey players on the list of best Canadian athletes before him, for sure.
But if they would have won a World Series in Montreal, okay, let's change it. If Larry Walker wins a World Series in 94, or if he was in 93 when the Jays won, or whatever year, if there was a relevant Canadian on the team, if Larry Walker was on those Jays teams in 92, 93, is Larry Walker considered one of Canada's top 20 athletes of all time if he plays for the Jays on those World Series teams?
I'll buy that argument. Yeah, I think he would have been.
Because right now he's going to the Hall of Fame 18 or 28 years later, whatever it is, whatever the math is. You can bring up the old memories, and you could sell the t-shirts and the hats and the this and the that. If he was on one of those teams, my God,
Oh, could you imagine if he was a J?
Iconic.
They won those those
If he was
World
on one of
Series,
those
and then
two teams,
oh
Walker's
God,
Walker's
they would have Larry Walker J like
every
tomorrow
day.
every day. There'd be Larry Walker J t-shirts in the
They'd be
gift shop.
rolling him out there when he was 80 to throw first pitch.
You got that right. Yes, you're right. You're right. Like so,
But
like
playing
so
in
as far as
Montreal and then they leave, like he's no less of a talent. And then to go from a team, okay, and then he goes to another non-factor of a team in Colorado,
yeah, and then
which
now
isn't a
his
big market. So you're like, and then there was always the talk about
the
all the hits he
stats
could
are
get.
inflated. You're right.
His stats are
Right.
inflated. But the funny thing is, his home and road stats weren't too much different.
Oh no,
In fact,
he
he
was a
had to.
solid
I
player.
think there was a few years in his better season. His road stats were actually better than his home stats.
Yeah, and when you win an MVP award, like you're legit, and let alone doing it for 17 years or whatever his major league
Yeah.
career, and he was young. Obviously, clearly he was young with the Expos. He was a player, like he was a fucking player. Um, I never saw him pitch, but I will say
Yeah.
Ferguson
Well,
Jenkins,
Ferguson Jenkins, yeah.
and then that might be nostalgia talking. I don't know who is the greatest Canadian ball player, but if I had to give a vote, I would say Ferguson Jenkins first, and then I'd say Larry Walker. But Joey Votto from Cincinnati is making
He's
a
coming up.
hard
He's coming
push,
down the stretch, rounding the turn, and
isn't he?
he's probably going to surpass those two.
And
I meant to do a little bit because I knew we were going to talk about today. Life gets in the way, so I didn't get to look up Ferguson Jenkins. I know he's in Cubs in Wrigleyville. He's the guy. Like he's right there. And Canada, like I think he's from Chatham, Ontario, home of the real deal, Rob O'Neill.
Rob O'Neill.
So he gets a little bit of a boost in our neck of the woods because everybody knows Oni. But it's Jenkins, for all accounts, he's the greatest. Like he was one of the best pitchers for a long time.
It was
like for a 4 or 5 year span, he was one of the best pitchers in baseball.
Oh, something. Yeah, Jesus, I wish I know this step, but I can't recall it. But it was like 30 complete games, or like it wasn't complete games. But it's a ridiculous stat. It was an absolute horse.
Yeah.
That never really won the Cy Youngs or anything like that, so they don't talk about him as an all-time great.
And he played for the Cubs, which didn't have a history of doing anything.
Yeah, exactly. But like he was an absolute horse that was dependable, and clearly I follow him on Twitter just recently.
Yeah.
He's a great follow. Like, well, he's Canadian, right? So he has good things to say, and he can make light of different issues, and he's a good guy.
No, it's great that there's a Canadian guy going to the Hall of Fame. That'd be the second behind Ferguson Jenkins, Larry Walker from Maple Ridge, BC. It's just too bad that Montreal left the way he did, because the Expos, they had such a great team that year, and when the strike shortened it,
Strike
ended. Strike ended
yeah.
it. So
yeah, there was no World Series.
Too bad. I find it odd, Dave, that you didn't bring up the greatest Canadian baseball player ever as Brett Lowry. Did that guy turn into an ass hat in about 6 weeks or not? Like, is it just me, or did he not?
Well, he was.
Like, he was such a gritty player, and he played hard, and he slid and dove, and he did all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, he started wearing stupid fangs for a mouth guard, and his eye black, and the glasses, and like, just did he turn into Surrey trash or what?
Well, but they traded him
to Chicago.
Or no, they traded him to Oakland for Donaldson.
That's right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So like we'll give you our douchebag, and you give us a douchebag that's just a little bit better.
Yeah, Oakland's douchebag was a lot better, and we're not as much of a douchebag.
Yeah, and doesn't get hurt, right? Like So here.
Oh, Brett Lowry turned into such a trash can.
Because he was everything turbo. He didn't know how to take off the turbo. He played the field. He ran the bases. He did everything, but he was always on turbo.
But then
And,
his get up was turbo too. Like, just quit it, man.
exactly. Like
you don't need to wear a mouth guard. Look like Dracula Fang. You're an idiot.
100%. Or the ridiculous eye block. Like not every part of your life has to be turbo. We want turbo. We want turbo occasionally. We don't want to.
Like,
I can only imagine what he was like in the fucking locker room.
Oh, just get out of
imagine
here,
he was
man.
doing like just
Would you just sit down?
tap the goddamn brakes.
Yeah, sit down, man.
Yeah,
because when he came out on with the Jays, I can't remember what year. It doesn't really matter. But he was such a like, oh man, this Canadian kid plays hard, and all of a sudden, like, oh fuck, he's not going to stop, is he? Like, and he didn't.
Yeah.
Just,
and then like he'd be diving into the wall to get a foul ball out. Like it's like that's not what you do. And he's hurt. And he's on the IR because of his crack. Don't fucking dive into the wall.
The ball's 40 seats. The ball's 40 rows deep. You're not catching it, dude.
Yeah, on a 3-2 count, like just it's okay. There's another pitch.
Yeah, it's
not
fine.
on base.
It's a 162 game season, dude.
Yeah,
you don't have your Brett Lowry all the time.
Yeah, and it's the third inning in June. Like, just
can you imagine that guy in college baseball? How much of a douchebag he would have been then? Because he was probably tamed down at that point. Like, there was probably some big leaguers said, dude, you got to just, was how I played. Not here, you know.
No, yeah, exactly. This is my brand. That's what we're gonna do. Every out matters. Every strike. I'm not gonna waste a pitch. Well,
it's Tuesday in Kansas City. No one's watching. No one cares.
Exactly. You're 21. I'm 32.
Yeah.
Like,
okay, you're paying for dinner tonight, man. Like, fuck off. Man.
Exactly. Yeah.
Brett Lowry.
Just stop it.
Yeah, just quit it. Anyways, congratulations to Larry Walker.
Is Lowry still in the league?
Oh no, he was out shortly after. He went to Oakland, then he went to the White Sox, and then he was done. He's probably teaching some kids in Surrey how not to play baseball right now.
With a walker or something like that, because he has ankle issues.
I think there was enough unofficial reports that there's enough testosterone and other kinds of substances going into his body where he's fine.
Okay. Well, I hope he's seeing
or Red Bull. A lot of Red Bull.
A lot of Red Bull.
A lot of Red Bull.
I'll take that.
1420 podcast. Ford Brewers Sports Talk a lot more. Sorry, one more time, Dave. I keep interrupting, but whatever.
That's all right. Brett Lowry, to quote Pulp Fiction, he was a race car and he was running in the red. He ran in the red.
Yeah.
You know what happens when you run a race car in the red all the time? Like he was the guns of the Navarro.
100-meter dash and 90-meter room. Fuck, man. Just quit it. Anyways.
Just hope the wall's drywall, not brick.
Yeah, well.
Someday.
He's got his mouth guard with the fang mouth guard Dracula teeth. Jeez.
You run into enough walls, one of them's going to have a post.
There you go. Eventually. Congrats to Larry Walker. Congrats to Derek Sanderson, Chesterfield Jeter, as we call him here in the 1420 podcast. Getting their Hall of Fame inductions tomorrow. Gonna record it, probably watch it 1,000 times before the day I move on, but it's gonna be a big day in Cooperstown. Yeah, it's a different year this year. We talked about it before, Dave. Before we get out of this segment, wouldn't this be great to have it on All-Star Monday? Honestly, like I know it's a COVID year and everything else, and we're all battling this crap, but I'm not saying crap because I don't believe in it, because it's crap because people don't believe in it. Anyways, wouldn't it be nice to have this on an All-Star Monday in the afternoon?
I hear exactly what you're saying, but I think as we relate to at that point, it's eyeballs on the screen, and people are going to watch or not watch All-Star Weekend. Let's give it to them on a Thursday in early September.
Well, it's Wednesday, but yeah.
Well, whatever.
Whatever, doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
This don't come out till Thursday. We record it. You can see it on YouTube, whatever. 1420 podcast, Ford Brewers Sports Talk, and a whole lot more. Way to go, Larry. Way to go, Derek. That's two names from the 80s, hey? Larry and Derek.
Larry and Derek, yeah.
If Larry and Derek were from Fort McLeod, what are they doing now? Larry and Derek, who are in their late 40s.
One of my best friends,
Larry and Derek. I never thought of that.
his name's Derek, and he's a partner in a prestigious law firm in Calgary. So I know what Derek's are doing. I don't know what any Larrys are doing.
No, it's because now everybody's named Bo or Chance or Chase or what all the kids' names nowadays are different.
Yeah, or
But
Jasper.
Larry,
That's my son's. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't see Larry.
There's not too many Larrys and Dereks being born anymore, or being named Larry and Derek anymore.
Well, there's no Brents or Davids being born either.
That's true. Larry,
right?
Larry, Derek, David, and Brent.
Or Bill.
Yeah, there's not many Willies.
I don't think I've met a Willie under the age of 30.
That's got to change. Parents, if you're having kids, name them Larry, Derek, Dave, and Brent. 1420 podcast, Four Beer Sports, talking a whole lot more. 1420 podcast, Four Beers is where the sports talking a whole lot more. I don't have a way to sugarcoat this, but Dave, there are some shitty people in sports. And there have been shitty people in sports for a long time. And I think a lot of stuff got hidden over the years because all this stuff's been happening between Trevor Bauer and Jake Rutannin and Deshaun Watson and on and on and on. It's not a new thing. I think the way it's reported is a new thing, how the truth's coming out, but you can't tell me that just in the last 3 to 4 years, the Me Too movement and everything else has become a new thing. I think when season-ending injuries were happening, they found a way to hide these things. I could be completely wrong, but I don't think I am. Dave, and I don't know how contracts work. We've talked about that in the podcast before, that we don't know that if there's morality clauses and everything else. But I think when you sign a NFL, NBA, NHL, and Major League Baseball contract, you're signing a contract not with just the team, but with the league. Should and does, and what do you think? What's your thoughts on a morality clause for every player who signs on to be a professional athlete? That's a lot to handle. I get that, but
no, I get it, and I'm gonna start dissecting it from the top. So what I believe is that there should be some kind of, like, the Major League Baseball teams and like any sports league, they have clauses in their contract. If you hurt yourself hang gliding or snowboarding or skateboarding, they have these things in contracts already. If you engage in high risk sports, then when I say sports, high risk activities, then up to the team's discretion, we may void your contract. I would say what Trevor Bauer did is high risk activity. His version is it was consensual, and the woman that he was engaging in this activity with says it was not consensual. That's for the courts to decide. That's high risk activity. I don't care.
Well, that's just it, Dave. It's before.
If he was just give me 2 more seconds. If he was a lawyer or a movie star, they would fucking run him off the set. Like,
well, and the Dodgers and baseball has done that, putting an administrative leave, what they're calling it.
Without another paycheck. I believe the Dodgers are still paying.
I don't. They could be. Okay. Question number 2: is it in a team's best interest before it goes to the court of law to get rid of a guy because of the court of public opinion? Because no matter what, and I'm not taking the male side on these 4 guys at all. I'm not. But is it in the team's best interest to just say, we're out, man? Like, you're being accused of this. and it's not you're accused of something that it's going to, because no matter what, when you get accused of something, there will always be doubt in people's minds. Is it in a team's best interest to protect the brand and move on from a player, because most teams don't win a championship anyways? Does that make sense?
No. I hear what you're saying, and I don't want you. I have a problem with protect the brand. I would replace that with do the right thing and let a bad person go.
No. That's if they are actually guilty, Dave. What I'm getting at is that, are you better off to, if there's a bit of a doubt, to get rid of a guy ahead of time before he goes to court, no matter what?
Um, I
Like, I'm
couldn't
not talking
imagine.
OJ here or anything. I'm just talking. I'm talking about.
No, yeah, you like Ray Caruth or
Yeah, like I'm talking guys who are like, something came up and, well, we should get rid of this guy because this woman said this, or this guy said this, or there was a hit and run or whatever.
It's not questions about the character. This is what we know that has happened.
Yeah.
I would have like on that same token, like I don't know exactly what kind of language is written into the contract between the Players Association, and I would imagine it is pretty detailed in what you can and
It would
cannot.
have to be now.
Yeah, I what you can and cannot just outright release a player with no further
I
compensation.
mean, these contracts aren't written on the back of a Marlboro or
Right,
on a cocktail napkin anymore, right? So
yeah, who is that running back for the Ravens that we saw punch his girlfriend out in the elevator? That was shocking.
yeah,
Absolutely shocking. Ray Rice.
Ray
was his name.
Rice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope we got the name right, so we may get sued for nothing, but whatever.
No, he punched her right.
No, he
in
didn't
the
know.
jaw.
Whoever the guy was, I hope we got the name right, is what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, but the thing was, and that was, I want to say 6, 7 years ago. And
Oh, I didn't
so
mean that long ago. No,
the
doesn't
Ravens
matter.
and the NFL knew that video was out there. They knew it and they saw it. They gave him a 2-week suspension. But then once TMZ, I believe, released that video, got their hands on it, that's when he was done for
That's
life.
when all hell.
And
So that's what I'm saying. So that's bad pub, like I'm part of the media. Bad publicity on the sake of the Ravens and the NFL. Like
exactly,
and that's why I'm saying, if you're accused of something as an athlete,
that's not accused though anymore. Like now that we know
now it's a factual thing,
right?
So
And
that,
you know,
okay,
and that's
so let's go back to before the TMZ video came out. Would it have been in the Ravens' best interest to go, hey man, get the fuck out of here? You don't play here anymore, because you know what? 50% of the population doesn't like you for this. 50% of the population doesn't like you for this. So all of a sudden, 100% of the population doesn't like you anymore. It's time to go.
well, and that.
Because if you sign a guy who is doing something like that, there will be a good, no matter how many touchdowns you score, you will lose hat sales, t-shirt sales, this, and this. I know no matter what. Am I wrong in saying that?
Oh no. Like this is.
I know I'm going around about the wrong way, but I just
no. But just give me a moment here. I'm gonna bring up some players' names here now that we know they weren't overly outstanding citizens on or off the court, but now these happen. These transgressions happened 15 years ago, and then like so. The first one I'm gonna say is that Greg Hardy, right? He was found guilty of beating up his girlfriend and just being a general piece of shit guy. And he has a failed UFC career now too. But the Dallas signed him. The Cowboys signed him. And once again, this was about 8 years ago. Because he was a difference maker, but he pleaded no contest to domestic abuse or something like that.
Yeah.
But the revelations of his crimes. Floyd Mayweather Jr. is a piece of shit human being. Best boxer ever in the history of boxing, according to his reckoning. If you talk to him, he beat the shit out of his baby mamas regularly. Like, and he's he has $500 million in the bank because he's undefeated.
Well,
And
I think you're lighting the 500 million, but yeah, I know what you're
but
saying. Yeah.
nonetheless, and so here's another name now. 10 years ago, would Ben Roethlisberger have been in the league? Like, if you take what he did 10 years ago and put it right now,
Probably not.
and good.
No, I totally agree. I totally agree. It's just the problem. Okay, not the problem. Yeah, it's a problem. The
The
problem you
reality.
got.
No, it's not a problem anymore. It's a reality that now we're treating these crimes against women to be a real crime. This isn't boys being boys.
No,
This is
I'm not saying that's the problem. I said the reality you have is that no matter what, there are teams that will sign these people because winning to them is more important than morality.
But
So,
I don't.
So when can the league step in and say, "Hey, this guy can't play here anymore"? So should there be an NFL contract and not just a team contract? Because at the end of the day, Jerry Jones can sign whoever the fuck he wants. If Ray Caruth, who could come out of, I mean, it's 15 years ago that happened, but if Ray Caruth could get weekend parole to play the game, Jerry Jones would have made his team better. So should the NFL have rules say if this person does this, they can't play?
I think
if hockey, we shouldn't just
no,
do a football thing, but if this could okay, let's put it in hockey. Jake Rutannin is now out of the National Hockey League. He was a high draft pick, 6th overall, I believe he went to Vancouver, didn't amount to a pile of shit. He was accused. Okay, well,
there's allegations.
There's allegations and something happened. It's going to court that he sexually abused a woman. He's out of the league. He's not. His agent shopped him around, and nobody wanted to touch him. The NFL doesn't care. They will give guys contracts if they can play. Good enough. Now the thing is, Rutannin couldn't play at that level. So if you can't play and you do something that you're accused of, by good riddance. If you can play and you're accused of something, they'll find a way to keep you playing. And I think that's wrong.
It is wrong. And I think it's less and less what you're saying about like particularly in the NFL, because NFL is king and we all know that, and they have the biggest rosters and they have the most
money in the game.
Yeah, the most money in the game, but like also too, as team members, it's from the widest swath. Like you have corn-fed meals from Nebraska, and you have inner city kids from Compton. Like it's from everywhere.
Yeah.
And
all ends of the spectrum commit these crimes. It's not just one or the other.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying here now. And all these guys, that are playing football, have been alphas, like big alpha males since they've been in grade 8. And then now they're like 24, 25, and they've gotten everything they've ever wanted in their life. And when I say everything, like I mean everything. They got the girls, and who knew would happen, and they got booster money back in the thing. And now when you put 100 alphas in the same room, it's like someone has to be number one and someone has to be 100, and that would be an interesting thing to do, especially when you're not in the confines of game room, going over game tape, going over the playbook.
Yeah.
Sooner or later, you're going to release all these men that are privileged and self-important and want to party, and they're 22 years old. Like it's not an excuse. I'm just saying what is.
I wish I knew more about it, Dave. Maybe I should have done some research on it. Maybe do a little reading instead of just reading about God knows what. But I'd like to know how the Trevor Bauer situation, how it came across the Dodgers. And yeah, he's on MLB leave. But what did the Dodgers, what was their plan? Because from what I've read, what he did was it's disgusting.
And
So
apparently,
were
like
were the
people, like,
Dodgers going? Were they going to suspend him if baseball didn't?
from what I read, it was like the Dodgers were just crossing their fingers and please let MLB do it so we don't have to. Because I would imagine once again that's all in the contract language. If Major League Baseball suspends you, then we can put you on, like,
Administrative leave or whatever it is.
whatever. We don't have to pay you anymore. But if we suspend you without just cause,
Yeah.
and then
They didn't
just
go to the
cause, like,
union and everything else, and then it's
right,
trouble. Then
right,
we're okay. So
right.
that makes actually more sense. It's
And
shitty either
that's
way. But
and that's kind of the way I read that entire situation. That the Dodgers were begging Major League Baseball to suspend him before they had to,
it's just.
because it was gross how long the Dodgers waited. Like it was,
But
like it
but
was,
unions and everything else, or players
yeah.
association, whatever you want, it's crazy. Anyways, we got a little deep on a Tuesday night. That's usually when we do get a little bit deeper, a little more thought provoking. I guess Thursdays are usually our go to time to get into her a little bit. But we got some fun stuff coming up here in a second. Here, Deshaun Watson, he's still playing with the Texans. He's not playing. He's on the roster, but he's on some other kind of league.
The inactive list.
But they're not going to trade. They're not going to get rid of him because someone's going to pick him up. They won't get anything for him. So it's better to have him sitting than playing.
Well, yeah, like
Because if he plays, they might win a few games, and they don't get they don't get a good draft pick. If they trade him, then they might win. It's just the guy shouldn't be playing. So that's when the NFL should be jumping in and saying this guy can't play until his court case is settled.
Contract void. But then the league, I can understand the team saying, like, whoa, we don't want to void that contract, because what happens if he's found not guilty, and that's our asset.
Mhm.
Right? So it's there's just so many things. It's living in an enlightened world, as good as it might be. There's some bad things. Not, I wouldn't say bad. Some unfortunate things to being woke. Like,
I got an idea. Dave. Why doesn't every pro athlete be like Derek Chesterfield Jeter?
Oh, Jesus Christ!
And just do.
Don't even start. You don't even have a fucking clue.
Oh,
he
had a Rolodex. He had a Rolodex. There's no getting around that.
The fact we know that he gave one night stands gift baskets.
Hey,
that don't make him.
That's being a nice guy. Those baseballs are worth a lot of money.
That don't make you a good guy.
Doesn't make you a bad dude. Those baseballs worth a little bit of money. Anyways,
well,
1420 podcast. We're not gonna shun. We're not gonna shame Derek Chesterfield Jeter on his Hall of Fame night. Anyways, 1420 podcast, 4 beer with a sports talk, and a whole lot more.
I don't know what you did, Chesterfield, but let's talk. I wouldn't mind hearing some stories.
I'd love to hear a story or two.
Oh yeah, he ain't talking to us, so ever.
This might be his best time to vent because no one's listening anyways.
Wow, why don't you give us a call?
Chesty.
Because he, like, when was the last time? Like, he doesn't go on Howard Stern or anything like that.
Oh, the 1420 podcast. Dave,
that's the place.
Brent, and Derek.
2 questions each.
Yeah, 10 minutes of your time, Dave. Chesterfield, maybe. 2 minutes of your time. That's all.
2 minutes of your day, Chesterfield. That's it. We'll start.
If anybody knows how to get hold of Chesterfield, let us know. 1420 Sports Podcast, 4 beer with a sports talk, and a whole lot more. Dave, you had your how many years annually the football pool you in now?
I've been in this pool for 7 years. I've been in other fantasy drafts, but this was my favorite. And the only reason it's just enough for the stakes. Well, the stakes are minimal financially. There's 12 of us in there. We get together and we have a live football draft, which is awesome. Last place supplies dinner and beer for 12 guys.
That's fair.
I think that's completely fair. So it's beer and pizza for 12 guys is a little bit more expensive than
$100 ante up.
Yeah, it's $125.
Yeah. What's and you won a couple years ago.
I won.
Couple,
I
3 years
want
ago,
to
I think
say,
it was.
yeah, I want to say closer to 5 years ago.
Jeez, well, you're getting
Don't
old.
matter. Well, when it's 12, if I win every 5 years when I'm 12, out of 12 teams, that's better. And I'm gonna touch wood right now. I don't know if you can hear that, but
Oh, yeah.
I'm knocking on wood. I have never hosted. I was the only one in the room that had not hosted.
You've never lost.
I've never
Been
come
last place.
DFL. I've never been DFL. No.
Dead fucking last.
And
Jesus.
then so you do these drafts and it's fun, and then at the end you can, on your draft website, you can draft ranker. According to the two different on one draft ranker, I had the second best team, and the other one said I had the third best team. So things are looking good for the OJ White Broncos.
OJ's White Broncos. That's we went a couple of months ago talking about OJ Simpson. He was a staple in the first few months of the 1420 podcast. Now it kind of went away, but we're back to football season. The USC Trojans, they won their first game against San Jose this past weekend. They got Stanford on Saturday night. How did your Michigan Blue do?
You know what? I don't even know.
They beat Western Michigan. Yeah.
Oh, they did beat West, and then I know Sparty won. I know Notre Dame. It was a bit.
That was a close one.
That was a wacky game, wasn't it?
Good game, but wacky.
Yeah, good game, but wacky.
What did Coach Brian Kelly say? He said, I wish I could execute these players.
I saw that clip. He goes like,
or they should be executed or something.
Yeah, we had problems with execution. I want to execute. Maybe I should execute some players.
That's a funny line.
It's a line, and he got a bit of heat for it, but just stop it.
Well, the thing is, Dave, next week someone's going to say something dumber than that, so it'll go away.
Yeah,
he's not going to. Brian Kelly's not going to execute the players.
Clearly,
he's mad because I say work. I should chop your fucking head off. I don't mean it.
Yeah. I'm gonna go in there and kick some guys in the nuts. Right? Is that what you want?
I've never kicked someone in the nut. Well, I shouldn't say that. Never. I'm sure I did grade 1 or 2. You know what I mean? But I said I should kick you right in the nuts. I say that all.
But we know what we're saying, right? Yeah. There is we can still give
kicking the nuts
some leeway for maybe insensitive,
a little more subtle.
Yeah.
Say, hey, I'm gonna give you a stern finger wagging.
Oh, I'm gonna give someone, and there's some guys that are gonna.
You're gonna get an earful.
You're gonna get a loogie. Yeah.
When's the last time you were kicked in the nuts?
Oh fuck! Yeah, it was before I had hair on my balls.
I wasn't expecting that, but yeah.
I've had someone try to kick me in the nuts, in a violent fashion. I blocked it.
Yeah.
But
Danielson, Miyagi-Do.
Miyagi-Do, yeah.
Wax on, wax off. Yeah.
I waxed off that kick in the nuts. I know, because I have no desire, and I'm too old now that I don't get into such
situations.
Yeah, and myself, when I've been in that, I was never a nut kicker. I would fake nut kick. That was kind of my news.
Do for flinching.
Yeah,
give in the arm.
Yeah, fake nut kick and a right to the nose. That's better. But so like I said, the OJ Broncos, I'm ranked 3rd in one draft ranking, and I'm ranked 4th in the other. So my hopes are, well, we got a chance. Everybody's 0-0 right now
on day 1. Absolutely, that starts Thursday night. The NFL season kicks off. I heard that the tickets. I saw it on Twitter. I've been following NFL at all yet. I'm worried about the Yankees right now to follow NFL. Apparently, the Cowboys Buccaneers game. The tickets are the highest.
Yeah.
the ticket prices are the highest they've ever been for any NFL game, including Super Bowl, in the history of the game.
I haven't read that, but I'll believe you.
Because Dallas people want to go to game. Tom Brady, COVID games last year, all in all, and everything else. Like, yeah, it's Jesus.
I'll believe that. Like it's a thing, and like you know what, and when I see all these college highlights over the weekend, like with packed stadiums in dangerous. When I say dangerous, with
COVID situations. Yeah.
yes, I'm going to talk about Florida State, and then Iowa had one, and the Big House in Michigan. It was packed, 105,000 people singing songs, and like it's
USC had a good crowd, but a restricted crowd, and I do know that they had restrictions on tailgating and everything else. It wasn't allowed at USC.
Yeah, like it's
which breaks my heart because I've been to a number of those. It's sad, but anyways, let's move on to
bad.
something. Let's move on to something a little more fun, Dave. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Let's get away from the
COVID talk.
Yes.
Anyways, working on a sponsor for the Would You Rather. So by next week, you might have a Would You Rather sponsor. Hopefully, it comes through for us. But Dave, we'll do a little rapid fire. Would you rather? I got 1, 2, 3, 4 of them for you. Actually, one's a would you ever. So 1 would you ever and 3 would you rathers. You ready to go?
Oh yeah, I always ramp up for this. I got my hair trigger ready.
Okay, number 1. Would you rather be a roadie for Van Halen 1984 or the equipment guy for the 1984 Edmonton Oilers?
Oh, Van Halen all day, every day.
Not hanging with Gretzky and Messier and the boys.
Oh, fuck. Eddie Van Halen and Diamond Dave in their heyday, they couldn't get any bigger.
They were huge. I love Van Halen. Yeah.
Every night with Van Halen would be a Stanley Cup winner night with the Oilers.
Yeah, that's a good point. But Gretzky and Messier ran Edmonton. I mean, you run Edmonton, you're a king for third world country, I guess. No shot on Edmonton. Don't get me wrong, but Van Halen.
Whatever town they're in, whether it be Cleveland or LA,
they're the Oilers.
City, they are the Oilers for that night.
Would you rather get a hole-in-one or win the championship for your local softball, curling, hockey, soccer, whatever? Would a hole-in-one?
All day, every day, because like now I'm pulling something out of your book. The hole-in-one is all about me.
I love me. I love me some me.
Well, if you can't love me, who can love me?
Well, that's just it.
And then whereas like winning curling league, whatever. Like I'm not gonna.
You don't get a T-shirt.
You don't. You can make a T-shirt, but like.
Yeah, I won the curling league, or I won the golf league, but yeah, you can always tell a story about your hole-in-one.
Exactly, and that ball is going to be in a little.
And you know what club you hit, and you know what distance it was, and you know where that pin was. I've never seen one. I've come very close once, and
I've seen one. My brother-in-law, I was with him. Him and I were playing, and I watched him hit a hole-in-one.
And every time you step up to a par 3, you're thinking, I could put this in. And when you hit it pretty well, you're like, oh, and then you're like, fuck. It was funny. A few weeks back, I hit a good tee shot, and I swore. And then my playing partner's like, well, that's a good shot. I said, well, it didn't go in. Same as a putt. It was just another shot. So that's how I feel about tee shots.
The hole-in-one I was witness to, it was the box was lower than the green. And so Dagan is my brother-in-law's name. He stroked it, and I go like, that's, and my words were that is right at it. And then we didn't know. You didn't know. And then and then we went up, and then as we drove up, I stayed in the golf cart, and I go, I'll go let you find your ball, because we honestly did not know.
Yeah.
and then he fucking trotted his ass right to the hole.
That's your first look, eh? Like he just
Yeah,
like I've done it before where I walk by and I give the sideways glance. Yeah, it's oh fuck. Yeah.
yeah, he didn't run, but it was a I'm gonna call it a hopeful trot. He had a hopeful trot to
The whole
the
I like
thing,
the hopeful trot.
and then he looked down, and then it was hands in the air, double fist in the
It's
air.
like chasing
And
the girl around a dance floor on a Saturday night, the hopeful trot.
And so we had our high five. I go, you got it, and he held out the ball. Then I got the
Nice.
card, and then we had some high fives. And I was golfing with his dad and his brother, and so my father-in-law, my brother-in-law, and then they were behind us, and yeah, hold on one, and like all right,
Yeah.
and we had a little dance. And
Did you buy a round for the clubhouse though?
give me a second.
Okay,
Dagan, my brother-in-law, is a cheap son of a bitch.
that's
And
not
so,
right.
and then so when we were done, he goes, "We don't say a fucking word in the clubhouse. I'll buy beers for everybody here, but you do not tell the clubhouse."
That's not right. He will get struck by lightning on the golf course before that's how he will pass away.
Well, anyways,
The gods will strike him down.
he
I shouldn't say that, but
no, but he was a cheap bastard. He still is. Like
hasn't
he-
changed.
no, he'll buy beers for his family, but he's not buying beers for any stranger because he had the fortune of hitting a hole in one.
There you go. Okay, would you rather be known for a blooper like that guy who ran through the fence from AAA years
Through the
ago?
wall, yeah.
Remember that? Or
Yep.
for just being a guy in a pro team who made the team, but no one else but from your hometown knows who you are.
Oh, that's a good one. Like, so you're talking about like a utility infielder.
If your name is let's make up a name. If you're the
Clint Hurdle, was
if
that
you're-
his name? Clint Hurdle.
Clint Hurdle was a manager.
But I think he's the one that ran through the wall.
No. We'll call him Clint Hurdle.
Okay, let's call him Clint Hurdle because that's
If you're a
solid
utility infielder, Shane Spencer.
Okay.
Utility Shane Spencer. He actually played for the Yankees. He was a World Series guy. But if you just played on the team and nobody outside of Ames, Iowa knows who you are, but that guy who played for he played for the Yankees. Like, he played for the fucking Yankees? Or the guy who's on TV every year, the blooper reel rolls through. Oh yeah, that would you go around being that guy? Yeah, I'm that guy.
Well, as a major leaguer, how long am I a major leaguer?
4 years.
And was my blooper in the major leagues, or is that like a AAA?
Your blooper's also in the major leagues.
Your blooper is also in the major league.
Do you want to be blooper guy who screwed up? Okay, do you want to be blooper guy, Canseco, ball off your head going over the wall as a no-name? Canseco's known for more than that. Or do you want to be a guy who just played?
That's a good one because there's a lot of things that go on. That blooper when Buddy runs through the wall is.
It was in Portland in AAA, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was an absolute stellar blooper.
That's a good effort.
But it's
You went Brett Lowry on that wall.
Oh Christ, he went super. Like that wall is there.
Brett Lowry. I'm gonna go. Fuck off.
He Lowry'd that wall. He totally Brett Lowry'd that wall. I'm gonna take the major league career because a blooper like that is just showing you why
they don't go away. Hey?
Yeah, like that, and like getting fooled by a hidden ball trick or something like that.
Because then you just look dumb.
Then you just look dumb, and I can make a fool of myself.
But looking dumb in the big leagues, you still made the big leagues.
Right, but like, and that's to the point, right? Like, you're in the big leagues, but if you're doing shit like that, I'll take.
Just be part of the team.
I'll take 3 years of being a utility infielder for whatever team, as opposed to being
running through a wall.
going viral and running through a wall.
People laughing at you nonstop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember that guy that ran through the wall?
Yeah, that was me.
Like, that was me.
Every wedding, every party, that was me.
You know, but
You gotta and you got to tell a story every time.
but on the flip side,
Hey,
like,
that was me, man.
like
Oh.
and like have a speaking circuit, like working for the United Way or something like that. And like
Whenever you
like
run through a wall,
yeah, like I ran through a wall. Like I
there's
didn't
got to be a
run,
motivational
like,
speech in there somewhere.
yeah, totally, for sure, without a doubt.
Whenever you're up
Like,
against the wall, run through it.
or
Go,
or
kids.
just, and like
I don't know.
everybody makes mistakes, and
Yeah.
and like, you know, the important part about making this mistake is like never repeating it.
Get up,
You never
dust yourself off, and keep going.
You never saw me run through a second wall, did you?
Yeah, no one burns their hand in the stove twice.
Right.
Whatever.
You gotta learn one time to learn.
Yeah. Okay, I got one more, but it's a would you ever. Before, like, you're happily married to Kaylee for a number of years now. Got a great son, Jasper. But let's just say, for sake of conversation, because that's what podcasts are. Would you ever ask a girl to marry you via the big screen? Would you? Like, would you ever get down on one knee on the Jumbotron in front of 70,000 people and just hope to Christ she says yes? One, hope she says yes. And two, if she does say no, she's not so fucking mad at you that you still have a relationship when you leave the stadium.
I'm gonna answer that by saying this. I would rather run through the wall and not learn my lesson and run through the wall a second time before
Oh man.
Oh no, I'll do something accidentally to make a fool of myself in front of millions of people, but I will never.
On purpose?
I will never make a fool of myself on purpose. No.
Because, like, when it.
No.
I mean,
absolutely not.
I mean,
here, just give me
I don't know,
quick
man.
second. Never in life, and this is a rule of life. Never ask a question that you don't know the answer to.
What? I was going to get to that.
And that's it. If you don't know the answer to that question, you don't ask it in your fucking living room. And sure as shit, you don't ask it at center ice of Joe Louis Arena.
Well, the thing is, Dave, is that I would really hope that if you're asking that question, let's say you paid the $1,000 or whatever it is to get on the Jumbotron, or what do they call them now? I would hope you would know the answer. Okay, is that a desperation move to maybe coerce the girl into saying yes?
I don't.
Does that make? Do you know what I'm saying?
I don't know, and a friend of mine has done this to, excuse me, his wife. Slezak did this. That's how he proposed to Paige.
At a Flames game?
I think it was at the guy Joe Louis Arena in Detroit.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know for sure, but like, you know what? Then they're still married. He's a tight friend, but you know, I'm happy every time I see him.
Yeah, I see hey, how's it going? Blah blah.
Yeah. I'm not gonna shit on him, but that ain't my bag.
Oh man, like I'm one day me and Deanna are going to get married. But that's not how I'm going to do it. And get the engagement thing.
Yeah, don't propose on Christmas Eve or on.
No.
Fuck that shit.
We'll figure something out, but it's just.
Yeah.
I just that's a gutsy move, man. I think it's an act of desperation. Unless, okay, here's different. Unless you're both super fans of that team.
You know what?
I don't know.
You know what? Like, if you want to, yeah. Go ahead.
American, okay, because it happens in the States quite often. It does. American women, they like sports more or they're more passionate by per capita than Canadian women about sports. And I think that's just factual. Like Deanne's a huge Leafs fan, but she's not like fucking Alabama, like American fans.
Yeah, I think there's a little
You
bit
don't
of
get
cultural
that.
thing. Yeah.
American women, the ones who are sports fans, they take it to a whole new level.
I think it's a cultural thing, but like we'll
Yeah.
go on from that but carry on now.
So if I wouldn't propose to Deanne at a Leafs game, and she's a huge Leafs fan.
Here's the thing, how
I don't know.
Here's the thing here, like I just thought, and like this must have been done. Like you're there a period break or whatever, because the team, you're gonna have to, like, there's obviously some legwork involved. It's just put it on like the jumbotron, like words, and then just get her to like look at, oh hey, look at that, and then like it's gonna be something that's gonna lead, and she'll be reading it and reading.
What if she has to go for a piss?
Well, then like, well, you're obviously texting now. Now we have the ability, right? And then she can be reading that, and then she turns around, and you're on a knee, and then the screen's on you. With the ring.
It sounds like a lot of work for not much.
It ain't my bag. It ain't my bag, but there's better ways and worse ways. Like, and I'm married, and I didn't think for a millisecond that that's the way I wanted to do it. So
I was at, I think it was 2014. I can't remember, 14 or 15, my second or third year going down to the Bronx. And I don't know if you saw it. The guy pretended it. He said he dropped the ring, and they were searching up in the stands. I was at that game, and the camera, like there was one camera stayed on while the play was happening, and they were looking for it. And the girl allegedly didn't know it was happening. To me, it looked a little bit staged, but she said yes, and they hugged and kissed, and they're probably divorced 4 times since then. But anyways, I think it's cheesy. Like, enough, man.
do you know, have you ever went to the New West Theater Company in Lethbridge? You know what I'm talking about when I say that?
Yeah. I went to the old West Theater Company when they were in Fort McLeod before they moved to Lethbridge. Yeah.
Exactly. As did I. And then one time I was in Lethbridge, and a guy did it to his girlfriend there. But it was clear, like it was they brought him on stage. Like it was clear, and they even put him in a costume for one of their skits.
Yeah.
And then they
I mean, that's sweet.
And that was, and then they brought her on stage and then she didn't know, because they picked him out of the crowd, and like it was like at the end it was clearly staged. They picked him out of the crowd, then they picked her out of the crowd, and then he proposed to her there. So I thought that was kind of good. I obviously he knows her well enough to put a ring on her finger, so it was a thing they do, and it was really quite good, and I appreciated his effort. Still not my bag,
No.
but at least I got some enjoyment out of it, and like she wasn't really put on the spot. Like she was overjoyed by the effort he put through this. Yeah. But like making an email request to Joe Louis, I keep saying Joe Louis Arena. Sorry, Slezak. It's it's an email. Hey, I want to propose to my girlfriend between the second and third, if that's all right. NP.
Yeah, I don't know.
That ain't my thing.
Now, okay, if you're the girl, are you semi-obligated? Are you obligated to say yes? Now, hear me out.
Never.
And then you can renege once you leave the stadium.
No, you're not obligated. Like, where the fuck do you get off? You don't know me at all.
We should ask. We should get maybe not Deanne on this subject. Maybe get. But
it's either your thing or it's not, right? And if you're proposing,
I'm telling the obligation to say yes, because he put the effort in, but if I say no, he's going to be crushed in front of 20,000 people, or the baseball game 40,000, or the football game 80,000. Like I do it at a Hurricanes game because it's like 4,000 people.
Why would it? Or just do it between you and the person that matters most, the one that
No,
you
I'm
want to
saying
spend the rest of your life with.
if I felt obligated to do it at a sporting event, I would do it at a not many people watching sporting event. But YouTube's a powerful thing, though.
Yeah, but then let's just do this at a Timbits game then. When there's
one phone can turn into 20,000 views.
Exactly, and the way you say that too, like at a Timbits game, there's probably more phones for
more phones than at a Hurricane game.
Yeah,
every parent's got, because there's 20 kids in either team, so that means there's 40 phones. Blah blah blah. All of a sudden, those 40 phones. That's how Amway made $1 billion.
Yeah, there ain't no way. No way.
Never.
Public thing, no, nothing public.
Public displays of affection and public engagements. It's not a good thing in the 1420 podcast world.
I'll affect my wife anyway. Like I'm affectionate with my wife. I'm not.
Well, yeah, but not.
Yeah.
Hand on chin, neck.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Bending, dipping and stuff and things, and like holding hands, making plans is one thing, but.
Yeah, there ain't no get a room action going on.
Yeah, legs wrapped around carrying it down the street and thing. Yeah, no.
Yeah, no hands up dress.
Because we're getting old. Break our backs on the street doing something like that.
Break our backs. Like I'm a total stand-up guy now.
Anyways, Dave, fun show tonight. Tuesday, Jesus, September 7th already. Eh? Got 9/11 coming up on Saturday. Those videos still just mesmerize me to this day, 20 years later.
I remember that day well. And, it's just one of those days, like the days I remember. I remember when the space shuttle blew up. I remember when, and I think the second most mind as far as world news and remembering exactly where you're at when you saw it was 9/11.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it a little bit on Thursday because it's there's a time when I was in Manhattan. It's near and dear to my heart. We'll talk about it a little bit. But anyways, let's end on a fun note, Dave. We had a fun show tonight. Some different circumstances going on, but it was a lot of laughs, a lot of fun. Got a little deep, got a little lighthearted. Fun show tonight.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed myself tonight. I was a little distracted this weekend. And so I wasn't able to do too much research. So I appreciate you doing the heavy lifting.
The heavy lifting.
You're a heavy lifting motherfucker.
You think I would have bigger shoulders than I do, all the lift that I do for this show, but anyways.
Or something.
Yeah, I got shoulders like a fucking sparrow, but anyways, whatever.
Just broad. Yeah, they ain't broad to look at them at all.
Old man strength. I got old man strength. Lift the world over my head like Costanza. Anyways, take care of each other, but more importantly, take care of yourself to need you around. Dave, keep your stick on the ice, and what else, my friend?
I don't want you to swing at high pitches, Jimmy, and keep that fucking car in the parking zones, all right?
There you go. 1420 podcast, 4 Beer with the Sports, talking a whole lot more. Hey, we'll talk to you again on Thursday night.
See you soon, everybody.